Hi everybody. Um, I'm going to wait a moment in case people come back in that were in our classroom that I just finished with Mike J. Dennis 5. We were doing the Tadai, and that will be posted a little bit later tonight after I get done doing this. But now we are about to read some poems from the Society of Secretly Perfect Poets. And the poems that we are going to be reading are from um, secret words that we gave out in our last live. And the way it works is on Sundays and Mondays, we give a poem. We give secret words out during our lives where we read poems and or secret lines, and the people who are in or who watch it back will come in and they'll write to that. And if they're already a member of the society, they have a chance to get a golden ticket, which gets special perks. If they're not a member of the society, then they can send it to us. They get it right. They get to become a member. Hi, Overlord. Welcome back. Welcome back, Kelsey. Welcome back, Tommy. I'm so happy to see you guys coming back. And it's a lot of fun. Everybody that's in the Society of Secretly Perfect Poets are phenomenal poets. So much fun to read, so much fun to write. We lift each other up. We encourage each other. And frankly, just being around a bunch of people that write well and have completely different poetic voices, it's encouraging and it's inspiring for you to grow, and everybody wants to grow and learn. And that's an exciting environment to be around. At least for me, it is. I like it. We like different challenges. The challenges are always different that we do. We try to have some fun. We try to have some serious. Kelsey says, can anybody else see? My screen is black. Oh, well, I hope people can see. Can y'all see me? Does it take a moment to start? I don't think so, but I can see me, but maybe that's because I'm watching me. Overlord says, yes, go out and come back in, Kels. Yeah, the lives, I do know whenever I've watched other lives on YouTube, sometimes when you go out and come back in, it'll put you at the right moment, but sometimes it will put you back a few minutes and you have to like scroll forward a little bit. So it can be different depending. I'm not well versed to know exactly what it is. But we're very happy for anyone who watches or for anyone who comes in. We would ask that after this, I'm going to put in the caption links to vjhd.writer, Mike J. Dennis 5, Hob the Poet, and of course, Society of Secretly Perfect Poets. And I ask that if you come in and you watch, follow me and follow all of them so that we can start bringing you lives on their channels as well. And the more followers that we have, the more people we're able to invite into the lives, and the more we're able to do. YouTube puts restraints on these things. So thank you guys for doing that. And make sure to, as all the YouTubers say, make sure to ring that bell so you get the notifications if we decide to do random lives. And guess what? Because of how we like to do our poetry, we like to keep it raw and in your face and not prettied up too much. We just want the real, I'm reading you for the first or second or whatever time, but I am reading your poem and I'm feeling it in this moment. And this is what it is. Nothing pretty, nothing fancied over it, no music, no anything for these particular lives. That's just what we do. So that's probably how most of my poetry videos are going to be. So that means I don't have to wait for processing. I don't have to wait for uploading. As soon as the live's done, I can put it up as long as I have everything ready to go. And so that means that as long as I have permission to read you, if I'm just feeling like I want to read some poetry and I'm not wanting to read classics, I can go grab some poems and go, I'm going to put some poetry up right now. So if you want to know when that happens, and it's not going to be announced, it'll just be surprise moments, mark the bell, and then you'll be notified, oh, Angelique's about to go read poetry, or Harry's about to go read poetry, Mike's about to go read poetry, somebody's about to go read some poetry, and you might enjoy hearing it. So there you go. I think, even though we already did a secret word at the end of the last live, just to get things rolling along, and because we have 6 of them, we should do the second secret word. We should do the second secret word right now. Just, to be different and have fun. And we do have a few to get out, and I don't think we're doing a 6-hour live. tonight like we have done in the past. So the second secret word that you're going to need if you want to become a member of the society, or you want to write to our secret prompts and get your poem read, the second secret word is that. And if you're watching back and you want to give VJHD Writer this word that I give you so that you can get the secret word because you did not see it on the screen, because they do delete them. They delete them from the chat, so it won't be where you can go back and watch it. The second word that you can give them is sleep. Sleep. And as Harry says, I have giveaways. If you see me writing, that means there's likely a secret word going on, or I'm writing something that somebody has sent. Kelsey and Casper have their bells on. That is good to know. Thank you. Oh, you didn't delete the first one, Overlord? Well, I guess that means that somebody gets a free word. Somebody gets a free word. So... but that is the second one. So if y'all did not hear at the end of the first, we need you to write a 16 plus line poem, including all 16 words. Or if you want to go for that golden ticket, write us an ode. Any subject matter, as long as it includes those poems, write us an ode. And that is a minimum of 30 lines that are three stanzas of 10 lines each minimum. And Kelsey says, at least there are 6. Yes, at least there's 6 instead of 1, right? And so I think before I get started on last week's words, which I loved last week's line, and I loved the gold ticket for last week is a villanelle. Oh, by the way, should point out for new people, if you write to these words, you have about 17 hours to get it to us by the time this live ends. Or maybe if we go short, like 20 hours to get it to us. Sunday night secret prompts, it's a turnover. We have to have it before the next one starts on the next day, and it's a quickie. So if you're going for that gold ticket, woof, that you picked a heck of a time to write an ode. But I hope someone does. I really, really, really hope someone does. We had people write a 100-line poem for one of these quick turnaround. So that was pretty cool. Kelsey says, if I'm not feeling odeful, am I able to just write any subject? Just wondering if it will still count if it's not an ode. You're able to write on any subject, yes. The only way you'll get the golden ticket is if you write an ode. If you just write on any subject, it still counts as a poem and you'll still get read as long as it includes the words. It just has to be 16 lines of at least 3 words per line or longer. And that will still count. Yes. The golden tickets we make a little bit extra challenging because if you're going to get a golden ticket, you should have to work for it. It's kind of how that goes. And to start this off, just to be different, we did have one of our poets apparently write. I don't know if he wrote it today is it a today, Casper? So I am going to go look at what he wrote. This is the today. I'm gonna read it to start it off since he wrote it during the classroom while we were discussing it, and I think that's cool. And we like to encourage that sort of stuff. And we used to read these all the time when this would happen. So we're happy to have Casper back in the live. So we're going to read it. Kelsey says, okay, I'll try and see what happens. I always enjoy seeing your poetry, so I really hope you do, Kelsey. And welcome everybody who's come in that I'm not seeing in the room. The way this is set up, if you don't type down in the comments, I can't see that you're here. I have no idea that you're here, but welcome. And so this is by the Ghostly Poet over on Instagram, or if you see him in the room right there on YouTube, it's Ghostly Poet. And this is called, he says, this is the Today. And I'm not going to break it down and see if he's correct. Though I can see looking at it, he is not. If he's going by form, but I will read it. Oh, hi, Alyssa. Yay. Hi, Mike. Hey. So he says, it is one of those moments chiming in. The tune glides on in, reminiscing. A memory forgotten. lost in mind. My heart rate grows faster while nail biting. An undertone, I am anxious again. 4 a.m. peaks, brimming mistakes. This is the grain I need for growth from here. This bitterness should not hold space. Hindering, neglecting, this has to stop. Bleeding, pain for pain. What a pain. I can't seem to drop. My mind's a wreck. Stand up, stand up, stand up. Sit with the rain. Well, Casper, I don't know what that had to do with the classroom, unless it's just you were so freaking excited that you were in there and drinking it up and sinking in with it, and that got you excited, and it was just like a poem about that. Or you were just writing and wanted us to read your poem. I don't know exactly. And Kelsey says, welcome back, Mike. Glad to have you there. But I did like this, and I did like, I like the, well, you got a little bit of onomatopoeia in it. I like that. I like the way that you play with the sound between the chiming and the tune in. And I like that sharing the undertone. I'm anxious again. I have 4 a.m. peaks, brimming mistakes. This is the grain I need for growth here. The bitterness should not hold space. And then that final stanza, hindering, neglecting. This has to stop. Bleeding, pain for pain. What a pain. I can't seem to drop. My mind's a wreck. Stand up, stand up, stand up. Sit with the rain. That sit with the rain hurts my heart, but I like the encouragement. Stand up. Tommy says it's well written. Overlord says beautiful poem, Casper. Kelsey says yes, well done, Casper. And I agree, and I deeply appreciate you sharing it with us. And we're so excited again to have you back in the lives and writing during the live the way you do. That always excited us and made us quite happy to see. So thank you, and thank you for interacting. And I look forward to when you do an actual today. I want to read it. I want to see it. I want to drink it in. So thank you so much, Casper. And again, that is The Ghostly Poet on both IG and on YouTube. Incredible poet. You should look him up. You should look him up. And now, there's more to it than that. There's more to it than that, Casper. I'll let Mike. Mike, since you sent it to Mike, Mike can probably tell you why. You don't have censura in it, for one. Is the big problem, the censura. But Mike can probably explain it quicker than I can in typing. No, there's no pauses. There's actually, if you go to the society webpage, Casper, and scroll down to where it's classrooms with Professor Mike, I believe one of the first ones is this, and he goes over it and has the knitting pattern and everything there for you. It is close. Yes, it is close. Oh, yes. As the Overlord says, pop it into the classroom chat, and we'll give it a read. I could try doing so now live, but because it's fresh, I haven't wrote it out ahead of time, and I'm not one of those people who can break things down just on the fly, reading them quickly. I have to count and do all that sort of stuff, so I would take quite a while doing that for y'all, and I doubt y'all want to watch me sit here counting on my fingers. And so now I'm going to scroll down to what tonight's are. And tonight's, this is for the prompt. Let me scroll up till I get to it. So for this prompt, which we gave out last Monday on the live, you had to use the phrase lyrical objections ransacked fate's will to concede. Fate with a capital F. So we look forward to reading what y'all wrote, because I've read some of them. Oh, I'm so looking forward to these. I'm so looking forward to these. And if you wanted the golden ticket, after you wrote this poem it was, oh, that got deleted. So I do not know if it was 16 or 20 lines. I think it was 20. I'm not sure. But after you wrote that poem, then you had to write a second villanelle that described the poem or was influenced by the poem, the original poem you wrote. So everybody going for the golden ticket tonight wrote 2 poems. And so for the first one, we will be reading The Nature of Ash. The nature _ of Ash on Instagram. And Ash wrote a pseudo sonnet, is what she says. And she calls it the Morai Melody. The Morai Melody. Deny not the lyrical. Objections ransacked fate's will to concede. Reflecting every one of our preconceptions we've dared to believe. Floating so softly right to our ears, with a melody caressing, sustaining for years. Are helpless the tears spilled to ground chronic, cried often to the sky with empty voice. Imperfect Morai's trio harmonic, though rarely in their song do we rejoice. When stubborn ears dismiss most lyrical, objections ransacked fate's will to concede. Inclined we oft lean on empirical, parched our dry tongues thirst and long to succeed. Changing winds soothe like a peppermint balm. We all just children, poor, hungry, threadbare, thin, emotional skin craving the calm, tacit strong, stitched with breath of loving care. Embrace the mystery of every unknown, built with your history, all that you've sown. So, I just love that she went into the Morai on this, because Morai, Kelsey, no. So the way it works is I can only, even if you follow me, I can only see that you've followed me if your follows are public. If they're not, I can't see the majority of the people who followed me. I can only see about 12 people who followed me out of the, I think I'm up to 70 something now. Right, Kelsey? All that you've sown. Alyssa says the way you read that. Thank you, Alyssa. But I love it. I love it. I love the way that she started out with the line that had to be done, but it's such a strong line in how she started it. Deny not the lyrical objections, ransacked fate's will to concede. And then she just goes on talking about our preconceptions, talking about the way we are programmed from that melodious, constant talking in our ears, in our minds. Are helpless the tears spilled to ground chronic. I mean, what a line. Are helpless the tears spilled to ground chronic? They seem that way, don't they? Alyssa says, gorgeous words woven together in such a magical way. Yes, absolutely. Cried often to the sky with empty voice. Imperfect Morai's trio harmonic, though rarely in their song do we rejoice. I mean, ooh, goosebumps, right? Though rarely in their song do we rejoice. Alyssa says, I love the line on parched lips. Yes, let me find that one. I liked that too. I think parched are dry tongues. So when stubborn ears dismiss most lyrical, objections ransacked, fate's will to concede, inclined we oft lean on empirical, parched our dry tongues, thirst and long to succeed. Parched our dry tongues, thirst. Oh, I mean, that just brings up so much. But then the beginning line of that next stanza, changing winds soothe like a peppermint balm. I love where the mind's going with this. Changing winds soothe like a peppermint balm. And then she even drops down, taking out words so that her phrasing is more childlike, is less proper. We all children, we all just children, poor, hungry, threadbare. We all just children, poor, hungry, threadbare. Thin, emotional skin, craving the calm. Tacit, strong, stitched with breath of loving care. Tacit, strong. Oh, just so every line is just, Alyssa says, yes, that one's so good. Kelsey says, so many lines could be their own prompts, right? It's just a beautiful poem. And then that last couplet, embrace the mystery of every unknown, built with your history, all that you've sown. Is that not just great advice? Embrace the mystery of every unknown, built with your history, all that you've sown. I mean, and when you read this poem, you can see it as a message to others. You can see it as an introspective message to self. It's someone who's contemplating. It's someone who is questioning the mystery of existence, the mystery of why we do the things we do, what's out there. When stubborn ears dismissed most lyrical, objections ransacked fate's will to concede, inclined we oft lean on empirical. That right there just, oh. So I love this poem. I love this poem. Thank you, Ash. And then next, Overlord says, I have to go outside and talk to the council workers for a minute. Take the time if you read enough. Do you want me to just write down what time it is? Because I don't know what time I started at. I will write down what time it is right now. So right now I am reading Angela C. for Change. And that is Angela_C_for change on Instagram. Another incredible poet, new kitty, who has been putting out some poetry. And I have loved reading every one of her poems that she has written to prompts for. And this is called Spirit Soaked. Spirit Soaked. Flowing above the pulpit, we praised in a sea of green. Our voices grow, rising up, up, up into a crescendo. Passers-by stopped to listen. From both bars we were nestled between, holding our notes long until our faces glow. Our lyrical objections ransacked fate's will to concede, for our God would not be swayed. Washed in the blood, not by grace or deed, how the fold levitate as we prayed. There was power, power, power in the blood of that lamb. The old rugged cross was always just right over the next hill. We were the clay in the potter's hand, preached Brother Sam. The more I be blunted tool of a portion, anake, even a primordial deity, she still simply personification of compulsion, inevitably, and necessity. Theorizing theology until I thought I would lose my mind. With disproportionate pensivity, ascertained the ability to concede. Sunday morning's green mythology imbues this spirit-soaked soul as designed, unbashed, moved, or crushed by unreality's stampede. And that is a passionate poem. Kelsey is going, oh, love this. Sparkles, sparkles. And those whoo things. Kelsey's making whoo noises for you, Angela. Yeah, beautifully written. Beautifully written. Welcome back, Overlord. The time that hers started was at 4:36 p.m. my time, Overlord. And so, yes, it is really beautiful. So I see it going both ways. Like I see that she's saying, we're in between these two places. This is Angela C for change. Angela _C _ for change. I love the title, The Spirit Soaked, and I love the way she builds up in that first stanza of the pulpit in the sea of green that's between the bars that they were nestled between. Pastors stopped and listened between those bars that they were nestled between. But I like the both bars, because when I read that, yes, I imagine that physical both bars, but then I also think about the choir, and I think about the bars of a song, the bars in music, and I think about how those crescendoing notes can be nestled between bars. And I kind of thought about that too, because her last line says, hold our notes long until our faces glow. And when I was growing up, one of the churches I would sometimes go to had a very beautiful choir that was extremely passionate when they sung. And that, I'm not religious, I don't do church, but I enjoyed the choir for the singing of those times, and there was beauty in that singing. It was a lifting up. It was a spirit-soaked moment. Tommy says it's outstanding. Yes. And so I picture that whenever I'm reading that. I picture that energy, that building of adoration and love and hope. And then as she moves on, our lyrical objections ransacked fate's will to concede. And then she goes through, listing the different reasons as to why. And then moving on to the third, amplifies that with quotes that we're very familiar with, whether it be in scripture or in song. If you have ever been to churches that sing in that way. And then that end line of preached Brother Sam, but then going down, dropping to the next line, the more I be blunted tools of apparition, and Anake, even a primordial deity, she's still simply personification of compulsion, inevitability, and necessity. She's reading off what this guy preached. And I like how she used that to read that off. But then on the back end of it, that very final stanza, theorizing theology until I thought I would lose my mind. With disproportionate pensivity, ascertained the ability to concede. Sunday morning's green mythology imbues this spirit-soaked soul as designed, unabashed, moved, or crushed by unreality's stampede. And that's some really interesting wording there, at least the way I read it. And I don't want to put words into Angela's mouth, but the way I read it reads that as all of this is happening, even though she is enjoying this, and the singing is like, oh, that all of the theorizing, the preaching act kind of made her go, wait a minute, um, and pensive, and uh, ascertained the ability through that disproportionate pensitivity, the ability to concede. And then Sunday morning screen, mythology imbues this spirit-soaked soul. Imbues. I like that she comes back with that. She's bringing both in and saying, I don't know, but this isn't necessarily real. And then unabashed, moved, or crushed by unreality stampede. Unabashed, moved, or crushed by unreality stampede. I like the question there. I like the observation there. I like the willingness to write out and express and explain what is felt throughout the entire thing, even if emotions are mixed. And I think that was really beautiful. She captured the spirit of the song that she wrote about singing, of that choir. And anybody who's heard a choir sing, especially, I mean, a choir in the South singing, they can sing. So it was really beautiful, Angela. Thank you. Yes, exactly, Angela. Angela says we all choose our mythologies. Yes, thank you. We do it that. Everything is a mythology, isn't it? Until it's all just our ideas and we choose what we want to think and believe. And Melrose Poetry is next. Melrose Poetry 18 is next. So that's Melrose_Poetry 18. And she wrote False Freedom. False Freedom. She held a quiet wish. Lyrical objections. Let me start over. False Freedom. She held a quiet wish. Lyrical objections ransacked fate's will to concede to a princess. A line was drawn right through. She held a quiet wish. Her soul always ignored, lying to herself. Now passion was left embers. Her belly yearned for wow. She held a quiet wish. Her path now befuddled, tears reflecting riches she'd lost in smolder with lit matches. She held a quiet wish. Composure found its crown. No longer desolate, she escaped false freedom, created her own fate. I love that refrain over and over again. I always love a good refrain in a poem. But I think this is one, the title, False Freedom, sets the poem up quite wonderfully. But then too, the poem can mean so many things. She can be talking about someone in particular that was a part of history, or someone she knows. She could be talking about herself. She could be talking about many a woman. Alyssa says, yes, powerful. Kelsey says, creating her own fate. Exactly. And I love, she sets it up right from that first stanza, doesn't she? She held a quiet wish. Lyrical objections ransacked fate's will to concede to a princess. A line was drawn right through. I mean, that first stanza is clearly going, no, no. Even if it's quiet, she's saying it's quiet but clear. And then she held a quiet wish, her soul always ignored, lying to herself. Now passion was left embers. Her belly yearned for wow. And how many people, I mean, I think that perfectly describes what so many people can experience, doing what they're told, doing what life tells them, what society tells them they should do. Kelsey says lyrical objections. Yes, a great use of that prompt word right there, right from the beginning, that line. She hit that hard with that. But I love the way she actually even uses the wow there. And then coming on, she held a quiet wish, her path now befuddled. Tears reflecting riches, she'd lost interest in smolder with lit matches. She burned it all down while crying over that loss. Her path befuddled, her path not knowing where it might go, because she needed more. She needed to be true to herself. And then that final stanza, she held a quiet wish. Composure found its crown. No longer desolate, she escaped false freedom, created her own fate. So even though she says concede, fate's will to concede to a princess in that first, she comes back and says by doing her own freaking thing, she found her crown. The composure to be herself gave her her crown, and no longer desolate and alone because she was doing what everybody expected or she was told or she believed herself to need to do. She escaped false freedom and created her own fate. I think that's beautiful. Beautiful, Melanie. Kelsey says, oh, I wasn't here for the prompt. Well, kudos to y'all for a great prompt. Ha. Thank you. But you know, to use a prompt in a good place where you can't tell that it's a prompt when it's a line, I always am just amazed by how everybody uses them, because everybody always writes so differently and they use the line so smoothly that sometimes I'm like, where's the prompt line? And it's like right there in front of my eyes, but I don't see it because it's just so smooth. Kelsey's asking what the prompt was. The prompt was lyrical objections, ransacked, fate's will to concede. Fate with a capital F. And she used it incredibly well. Everybody has that has written to it so far, just spectacularly. So thank you, Melrose. Melanie. And then next we have me. And I apologize, it's long. I was fitting a lot of prompts into this. And that is From the Breath of Daydreams, both on Instagram and on YouTube. And it is called The Next I Penned, excerpt from a journal bound in darkness. The scent of spring drafts an emerald envy within the ashes of my angst. From these fathomless depths where the wild remedy of lingering lullabies dares the sound of the sea to torment the stars up above, I question everything. There are echoes and dissonance, clear indications that lyrical objections ransacked fate's will to concede to the buried pages we stole from the breath of daydreams. Such eerie elegies randomly scribbled upon our fading lifelines like brush and pintails consoling a muse bemused with the nature of the ash. Could that we might unwrite their cursed notes? Could that we might silence their raucous thunder? Wild horses trample the calm within my chest. at the thought of the spilled secrets invented by my demon's lips. If only I could see the answers to breaking the curse that binds us all in daffodils and depression. But I have become a melting moon whose light flickers with the tending to these wounds. A Luna maiden whose ephemeral soul has lost all hope of redemption. My life in poetry, my arcane musings, my very sense of self, phrase in jeopardy, forever cascading in a trajectory initiated by he who claimed dominion over my soul. I am sunlight and sin. Your heartbeat is my pulse. Revel in my desire like the cherry blossom does, then wither within your freely offered undoing. Shall we raise a glass to my naivety? Shall we raise a glass to my naivety? No, I didn't think so. Yes, Kelsey, thank you. The line that you're speaking of, the curse that binds us all in daffodils and depression, I know the curse, I think all that whole line is Poetic Reveries prompt. I used all of the Poetic Reveries March prompts and all of the Shadowed Rose prompts, March prompts, the Overlord's Trajectory prompt, the Overlord, Phasa, myself's picture prompt, and this prompt in this. So I just wove a lot of good lines together, basically. So they get credit for all those lines. I just put them together. So I cannot take credit for that. And all those names, those were all handles. The Shadowed Rose prompts did, for their March prompts, they took a list of names, including my own handles, and that's their prompts. They're asking people to write poems to those handles because they like the names, and I think that was cool. Angela says, oof. Alyssa says, yes, that was amazing. And Kelsey says, nicely woven. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. And thank you, everybody who did those prompts, because it wouldn't exist without them. And then next, we have Angela C. for changes, Villanelle. For the poem that we already read. And Angela says, Ash did one. It was a good prompt. Yes, I loved Ash's. It was beautiful. And Kelsey says, so fun and brilliant. And Alyssa says, yeah, that was amazing. Thank you. And yeah, I loved Ash's. And it was fun to do. And so this is Angela C. for change. And this is her Villanelle. Tommy's giving cards. Thank you, Tommy. And her Villanelle is called Sway and Sing. And so for those of you that don't know, to get the gold ticket, oh, right. Actually, you know what? I'm going to pause so that we can give out another word, and then I will go ticket this and do the thing because it deserves all the stuff. So first, third word for tonight. What's the third word, Overlord? If you are watching this back on live, you need to collect all the words and then send them into vjhd.writer and write before tomorrow. That's when this one is due. I haven't read it. Well, I'm going in order. So if I haven't read Leslie's, it's because it's not in the order. So I'm just going in order and reading them. The third word is what the Overlord just put on the screen. And if you're watching it back, send the Overlord the word harbinger. Harbinger. And then you will need to write to all of the 6 words by tomorrow. So we have it before the live. We will need a text copy of your poem. And if you want the golden ticket, you will have to make it if you don't want if you don't want the golden ticket, you need to do a 16 plus line poem using all the words. If you do want the golden ticket, you need to do a 30 plus line ode using all the words. 3 stanzas of 10 lines each minimum. Overlord says, no, you have a totally different order to how I sent. I thought it was weird. I do? Maybe I'm in the wrong folder? Oh, I'm in the folder for that. So I will switch folders. Hold on. Oh, I see what you did. Yeah, I haven't read anybody's Villanelle yet, Overlord. No, that's Harry's folder. Well, what folder am I supposed to be in? If it's the lyrical objections, then it's literally just very much so out of order. Yes. Oh, I wondered about that. I was like, why aren't the villanelles with the pieces so I can read them back to back? But I figured maybe people didn't send them back to back. So do you want me to read the villanelle next, or do you want me to drop down and read the people who did not do the villanelle? Find Leslie's and read that, and then go find the villanelles? I can do that. And Kelsey says, I don't work tomorrow night either, so I get to see tomorrow's live too. Oh, yay! Happy spring break, Kelsey. I've missed seeing these lives. We've missed having you in them. We have. We've missed doing them. It's so nice to be able to be doing them again. So I apologize, Angela. We're going to come back to yours so we can do all the villanelles at once. And the Overlord has me scrolling down to find Leslie's. So this is Leslie's poem, and that would be Nasha Bella on both Instagram and YouTube. And hers is called Seek Your Fate. Seek Your Fate. In curtained chambers within terror's citadel, a sad poetess pen appeared to be held in a spell. With tremulous hands she commenced a verse, a rendition about fate, an outrageous curse. 3 fates they stand, their devourers preassigned, their presence heavy, their touch unkind. Clotho the spinner, with hands of grace, weaves the thread. New life she makes. Oh, I never realized how to. I'm going to have to start over because I'm not sure how to say the second one's name. I never got that quite right. Let me look that up because I don't want to mess her poem up. I apologize. Lacuxus. Okay. Sorry about that, Leslie. I am starting over, but I know you'd want me to get the pronunciation correct. So Lacuxus. Leslie, seek your fate. In curtained chambers within terror's citadel, a sad poetess pen to be held in a spell. With tremulous hands she commenced a verse, a rendition about fate, an outrageous curse. 3 fates they stand, their devourers preassigned, their presence heavy, their touch unkind. Clotho the spinner, with hands of grace, weaves the thread, new life she makes. Lachesis the measurer with eyes so keen, determines life's length, the joy sadly not seen. Her thread is certain to mark the way, the course of life, till in death you lay. Atropos the cutter with scissors so sharp ends the thread, with swift cruelty life she stops. No mercy given, no second chance, she severs all ties with a final glance. The sad poetess with words of integrity does not seek love or to believe in a set destiny. Her lyrical objections ransacked fate's will to concede. She sees the threads and knows how to proceed. The forlorn poetess with thoughts in ink defies fate's grip, refusing to sink. She crafts verses with strength imbued. She honors the fates, but knows their power is now subdued. Ooh. Kelsey says, this is beautiful to be held in a spell. Love this style like a lullaby rocking back and forth. Love the threading and weaving and scissor analogies. Yes, I love it too. I love that she brought the fates into the prompt that mentions fate, but she's also saying, yeah, I honor them, but I'm not necessarily going to agree or bow down to when they want to cut me. Angela says, gorgeous depth. But Kelsey says, too many good lines. There's many, many good lines. The rhyme, like you said, the rhythm and the rhyme of the way that she wove it back and forth is beautiful. The way she starts out saying, in curtain chamber, within terror citadel. Terror citadel. I love me the word citadel. I just think it's a beautiful word. Kelsey says she did a great job with the personification of fate. She really did. A sad poetess pen appeared to be held in a spell with tremulous hand, not trembling, tremulous hand. She commenced a verse, a rendition about fate. An outrageous curse. I love the way she sets the first line up with the word choice that she uses. Not using the everyday words, but not going so above and beyond that people don't know. It's just a beautiful use of syllables and slightly unique words that paint the picture more poetic and beautiful. She loves words and she loves the artistry of words, and I think she uses it in that. And then she drops into explaining who the three fates are and explaining what each of them does in that beautifully rhythmic way that is spinning the spell, writing the spell out line for line. And then into the fourth stanza where the cutter with scissors so sharp ends the thread with swift cruelty. Life she stops. And what I find so interesting about this stanza is the last three were extremely rhythmic, extremely song-like and smooth and sailing spell. But on this one, not only is it longer than the other ones, but she comes in and she cuts it with the way that she slightly shifts the rhythm. She's hitting it with that cutter, and then no mercy given, no second glance. She severs all ties with a final glance. Her words are sharper, these single syllable and two syllable words that really draw attention to that action, and I like that. And then going into the sad poetess with words of integrity does not seek love or to believe in a set destiny. Her lyrical objections ransacked fate's will to concede. She sees the threads and knows how to proceed. And then going into the final one where she's like, the forlorn poetess with thoughts in ink defies fate's grip, refusing to sink. She crafts verses with strength imbued. She honors the fates, but knows their power is now subdued because she refuses to believe it's set in stone. I think it's beautiful. So thank you, Leslie. And she told me she was gonna use the fates, and I think she did an incredible job using them. So gorgeous poem, Leslie. Gorgeous poem. And next, if we're doing all the first poems first, that means that we are not doing the villanelles quite yet. We're going to do, let me scroll down and find it. The Overlord has one also, and that's vjhd.writer, both on Instagram and on YouTube, and they wrote to the prompt as well, and they wrote musical liaisons. Musical liaisons. Her lyrical objections ransacked fate's will to concede. She sang a song of musing, of truth as she came to know it. Tears of joy washed open wounds as she found the will to continue. Her lyrical musings of what might be should the fates decide to leave her be. She played the barb of life's cruel tale as she weaved about a tune. Eyes of wisdom led the way as she hums throughout the day. Her heart was soft despite fate's way of breaking down her soul. She wished upon the stars of night the strength would find her sleeping. A musician's daughter, tried and true, as she held his memory close. Her life a song that never ends, despite fate's will to try. She took apart the dreams of many, and she gave them back their hopes. Despite life's cruel and unending ways, her corner of the world, a chorus. Her dreams are still, but never gone, as she holds them between the notes. She dances between the fates of time as she tiptoes her way to freedom. A song that many will never find, a place inside that she calls home. And Kelsey says, tears of joy washed open wounds. Her heart was soft despite fate's will. A chorus holds them between the notes. Yes, love that. And I like the musical liaisons. Kelsey says, beautiful energy. And she also, or they also, I'm saying she because I'm reading she and her throughout this, but the Overlord is anonymous, and I don't know if the Overlord is a she or a he. The Overlord is the Overlord and is a time-traveling cat from who knows where. Overlord says, we know Kels was listening, right? Yes. And so I like the way that the Overlord uses this, starting it out the same way that was done in the prior poem with that opening prompt, but then going in and really making it their own. Overlord says, I love the picture, so I wrote to that woman in the picture. It's a beautiful picture. I saw that picture and was like, oh, where did you get that picture? And Kelsey says, yes, listening. But I like the way that as you go through stanza by stanza, you're creating this lyrical musing. as you write in the second one, lyrical musings, in the first one, lyrical objections. You're creating the song of hope and defiance and struggle and beauty. Google is cheating on you, Angelique. Oh, you Googled. Google always cheats on me. Google does not like me, Overlord. Google doesn't like me. IG doesn't like me. Google keyboard changes my words. Oh my gosh. When Harry and I were working on the villanelle, it changed the words so many times. Even after they were up there, like copying paste, would copy and paste everything, and it would literally change words in the paste. My Google keyboard is starting to drive me nuts. Kelsey says musical. Tommy says it's beautifully written. It is. She wished upon the stars at night that strength would find her sleeping. A musician's daughter, tried and true, as she held his memory close. And so that speaks of so much hope and longing. And then going into the next, her life a song that never ends, despite fate's will to try. She took apart the dreams of many as she gave them back their hopes. Despite life's cruel and unending ways, her corner of the world a chorus. And I don't know about you guys, but I see that so often out in life, that the people out there who are trying to really lift others up and really create dreams for people often have walked some heck of a pathways. Kelsey says a song that never ends. I love this so much. Yes, a song that never ends. And her corner of the world a chorus. And then her dreams are still, but never gone. They're still there. They're not out there rejoicing, but they're still there. And she holds them between the notes of that song that never ends. She dances between the fates of time as she tiptoes her way to freedom, a song that many will never find, a place inside that she calls home. And I love that, having home inside of you. Overlord says, me too. I was very excited when I finished it. It's really, really good. One of my favorite pieces of yours, Overlord. It's beautiful. Beautiful. And so that means now we're going on to the villanelles, right? You have a caption that I don't have the captions here to see, though, so I didn't get to read anybody's captions. Kelsey says, might as well just quote the whole poem at this point because I love all the lines too much to pick one as a fave. Whew, that is high praise from Kelsey. Speaking of high praise and Kelsey, when I was flicking through Instagram trying to make sure that I answered things and found things I needed to, but I wasn't going and doing people's posts or anything, did I happen to see on my feed that Kelsey just got, no, it wasn't on the feed. It was over in the little bubble for DMs. Did I happen to see that Kelsey's published? Is that what I saw? Did I see Kelsey just got published? Kels, did you get published? And Overlord says, yes, published, Kels. Oh, so yes. Ah! That is the Whimsical Wisdoms by Kels over on Instagram. And if you're here in YouTube, it's the Kels that is right there in your chat. Has gotten published. I think it's in an anthology, right? I need to go look, and I should have done this before the live. Kelsey says, yes, I have been published in an anthology with a lot of amazing poets. So go check her out. Buy the book if you want. Kelsey is a phenomenal poet. So I'm sure if she's saying others are, that then others must be. And I just got a DM telling me the video has stopped a minute ago. If y'all can still see my video, would y'all tell me and let me know that it's still going, please? And write the time up there. Thank you, Overlord. And congratulations, Kels. Ah! Kels is in a book. Kels is in a book. So happy for you. So proud of you. That is wonderful. And I know many, many people are probably going to buy it because you're a freaking phenomenal poet. Let me find. So, yay! Happy, happy, happy. And then that means we are on to the villanelles. And I will go in order of how we read the original poem. And so that would mean ashes would be first. And these villanelles, Kelsey says, it was published by Brandy Lane, so it's under her name, but I have 12 Wow, 12 poems? That's a lot to have in an anthology. That's incredible. So Brandy Lane, people, if y'all are looking for it, what's the name of it, Kels? Hi, CJ. Hi, Carrie. I hope you're having a good evening. And we'll wait for Kels to give the name so I can share with everyone in case they want to go grab it. And the name is Love is Pain. Love is Pain by Brandy Lane. And Kels has 12 poems in it, along with some other amazing poets. So again, congratulations, Kelsey. Go check it out. Carrie is doing good. Yes. And y'all, we're doing phenomenal. We're having some great poetry reading tonight, Carrie. Loving it. Loving it. And speaking of great poetry, Kelsey's gotten published in an anthology called Love is Pain. So that's great poetry. And we're about to read a villanelle by The Nature of Ash. And the people who wrote the villanelles get the gold tickets. And to do that, you had to write a villanelle that was about the poem that the prompt was in. And so everybody who's done this wrote 2 poems. 2 poems. And Alyssa says, Love is Pain by Brandy Lane. That sounds awesome. And so this is the nature_ of Ash on Instagram. And the title of her poem is Objectionable Villanelle. Objectionable Villanelle. Will objects to fate's ransacked concessions polish these tacits with boisterous breath? All rejoice in harmonic expressions. In season come, falling to digressions, how tedious to be waiting for death. Will objects to fate's ransacked concessions. Let me start over. Will objects. Let me start over. Objectionable villanelle. Will objects to fate's ransacked concessions polish these tacits with boisterous breath? All rejoice in harmonic expressions. In season come, falling to digressions, how tedious to be waiting for death. Will objects to fate's ransacked concessions Unbind yourself from earthly possession, leaves falling from trees regardless of breath. All rejoice in harmonic expressions. Swallows sing to sky with non-aggressions, bruised finger puppets memorize stink's breath. Will objects to fate's ransacked concessions. Burst thick through veils after compressions, brightly inhaled from mysterious death. All rejoice in harmonic expressions. Sideways glancing, lengthy soul confessions, always dancing in all the processions. Will objects to fate's ransacked concession. All rejoice in harmonic expression. That is a deep villanelle. I'm curious what somebody who doesn't know what's going on in Ash's life right now, how they would read this, because I know that that really paints my view of how I read this poem. Will objects. I should read it again because I think I got that wrong. Will is personified. I need to read that again. Will objects. I need to read that again. I completely messed the poem up. So ignore the last one. We're reading this again. Objectionable villanelle. Will objects to fate's ransacked concessions. Polish these tacits with boisterous breath. All rejoice in harmonic expressions. In season come, falling to digressions, how tedious to be waiting for death. Will objects to fate's ransacked concessions. Unbind yourself from earthly possession, leaves falling from trees regardless of breath. All rejoice in harmonic expressions. Swallows sing to sky with non-aggressions, bruised finger puppets memorize stink's breath. Will objects to fate's ransacked concessions. Bursting thick through veils after compressions. Brightly inhaled from mysterious death. All rejoice in harmonic expressions. Sideways glancing, lengthy soul confessions. Always dancing in all the processions. Will objects to fate's ransacked concessions. All rejoice in harmonic expression. That first line is just really a hard stamp on the poem. And I'm being told over on the side that the video has stopped and there's nothing there, but y'all are still here, right? I'm not sure because I don't see anyone typing, and I normally would for this. Overlord says yes, still here. Okay, good to know. Who got lost? Tommy. Thank you, Alyssa. I like the way that this starts with the will objects to fate's ransacked confessions. Thank you, Kelsey. I mean, that is just a bold objection to the ransacked concessions. That's to messed up concessions, to destroyed concessions. Overlord says, tell him to close it all down and restart. It happened to me the other day. All right, thank you. Let me go back to that. And then polish these tacits. Not just with breath, not just and polishing with a boisterous breath. The use of boisterous is poignantly, emotively stopping. Like you read that in that line and you go, oh. All rejoice in harmonic expressions. So that's almost like saying, everybody be happy that everybody's getting along. I think harmonic expressions, you're saying what you're supposed to. And then in season come, falling to digressions. How tedious to be waiting for death. Will objects to fate's ransacked concessions. Unbind yourself from earthly possession, leaves falling from tree regardless of breath. All rejoice in harmonic concessions. Well, welcome back, Tommy. Well, I had a message from you saying it's all black. Why did you message that then? And then swallows sing to sky with non-aggressions, bruised finger puppets, memorize stinks breath. Will objects to fate's ransacked concessions. I think about that like getting stabbed to have your blood drawn or something. I mean, to test your sugars and things like that. And then bursting thick through veils after compressions. Bursting thick through veils after compressions. That climb back up to consciousness. That climb back up after you have coded. And finding yourself, your brain, not quite what it was. Feeling not yourself, feeling not as bright. And then, but brightly inhaled from mysterious depth. All rejoice in harmonic expressions. And then that final line, that final stanza, sideways glancing, lengthy soul confessions. Always dancing in all the processions. Will objects to fate's ransacked concession. All rejoice in harmonic expressions. The line always dancing in all the processions really catches my attention. And the sideways glancing. Lengthy soul confessions. Hi, Harry. That reminds me of people in these situations who are so carefully, or who are being so careful about what they say, and are always dancing and putting on masks to try to make everybody around them comfortable. To me, this is a villanelle that is an outpouring from someone, and it's deeply moving. Thank you, Ash. Technical issue in your typical fashion. Hey, Harry, you're about ready to do some zombie stuff? And so this is really beautiful, Ash. Thank you so much for writing that and sharing that. And I really like the title, Objectionable Villanelle. You're having a secondary device issue? Does that mean you're not going to be able to come on? You just don't want to sing, do you? You're going to make me do it. I see how you are. I see how you are. And so the next one, I believe Angela also did a villanelle. Yes. And so this is Angela _C_4 changes villanelle. Yeah, I'm not the tech person to know on all that, Harry. Maybe somebody in the room can help out. No problem. And so this is called Sway and Swing, a villanelle. High praise crescendoed past rafters still sings. Robed sea of green flows in the... Let me start over. High praise crescendoed past rafters still sings. Robed sea of green flows in the choir stand. An a cappella hallelujah rings. Eyes up, doubt cast out, with new sight he brings. Harmonizing voices stand hand in hand. High praise crescendoed past rafters still sings. Fly, clapping robes, flapping joys, rhythmic wings. Gospel carries a prayer for every land. An a cappella hallelujah rings. Spirit-soaked worship in our divine King's unconditional resilience blooms grand. High praise crescendoed past rafters still sings. Kaleidoscopic faith surrenderings the universe in agony at hand. An a cappella hallelujah rings. To cannon's brass sea of green sway and swings, the softness after mild drizzled jazz band. High praise crescendoed past rafters still sings. An a cappella hallelujah rings. No, you have not missed the fourth word, Kelsey. And so, da-da-da-da, that is Angela's villanelle for a gold ticket. Both Angela and Ash got a villanelle. And this is just a beautiful expression of the a cappella choir that she is speaking of in this. And the person who is leading the choir, eyes up, doubt cast out, with new sight he brings. Alyssa says that was beautiful. I love the repetition. Yes, this is one of those villanelles that work so gorgeously. Overlord says, shall we do the fourth word and say yes after I finish going over Angela's poem? I love the way the high praise crescendoed past rafters still sings. Robed sea of green flows in the choir stand. An a cappella hallelujah rings. And she goes from describing that to describing how they're acting. Eyes up, doubt cast out, with new sight he brings. Harmonizing voices stand hand in hand. So she's still describing it so wonderfully. And then fly, clapping robes, flapping joys, rhythmic wings. And anybody who's seen it knows exactly. I mean, she describes that picture beautifully. Gospel carries a prayer for every land. An a cappella hallelujah rings. And then spirit-soaked worship in our divine kings. Unconditional resilience blooms grand. High praise crescendoed past rafters still sings. Kaleidoscopic faith surrenderings, the universe in agony at hand. An a cappella hallelujah rings. And then on to the two cannons' brass sea of green sway and swings. The softness after mild drizzled jazz band. High praise crescendoed past rafters still sings. An a cappella hallelujah sings. I mean, it's beautifully musical. It's beautifully descriptive of that moment, and it is adoring of it. Tommy says it's gorgeous. Yes, it really is. Wonderful job, Angela. You set us in that moment. And on the, I love that on the image that she used, she has all her choir decked out in the green robes that are singing, and then she has her little kitty cat speckled throughout it, swaying away with them. Really beautiful, Angela. Thank you. So spirit soaked, and I think her title describes exactly what she was describing throughout the villanelle. Spirit soaked, and that is a good high note to go. Da 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 da. Your fourth word for, if you want to write to the prompts for tomorrow's reading of poems, is Overlord. What's the fourth word? Kelsey's doing sparkles. I didn't do bubbles. I should do some bubbles. I see all your sparkles, Kelsey, and you're always throwing the bubbles out with me. So bumblebee bubbles. Bubbles for the bumblebee while we wait for the word. And if you are watching it back and you need to send, oh, I just got bubble on my shirt. That's nice. If you're watching it back and you need to send the Overlord words to get the secret words, then that means you need to send the word fetching to the Overlord. That's vjhd.writer to anybody on YouTube who does not know who the Overlord is. And we got bubbles coming in from all over the world for the bumblebee. Da 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 da, says Kelsey. Bubbles, bubbles from the East Coast, bubbles from the West Coast, bubbles down here from the South. It is a bubble palooza. Alyssa says, these words are hitting. I am a fan so far. Yay! We're so glad you're excited for the words. And Kelsey says, I'm excited for these words too. So that excites us because that means, because I know how you two write, we're good, I guess. So I'm excited poetry to read tomorrow. That makes me so happy. And these poems have been so amazing tonight. So if you're going to do it, you need to write a 16-line word, 3 words per line minimum, or plus. It can be 16 or longer, any style, any subject matter that you want to, and have it to us by tomorrow at preferably by noon Central Standard Time. We push it on this because it's such a quick turnaround on this day, but we do need it before the show. And the show starts at 3 p.m. We prefer earlier or like by 2 p.m. because we have to gather them all and make sure we have them to read. And then if you're wanting the golden ticket, you have to write an ode, which is 3 stanzas of 10 lines each, a minimum of 30 lines. You can go for it and go as long as you want, but an ode. And Harry says, yes, the first word is on the other live, Kelsey. And Harry says, I'm having no flipping luck with single screening this. Oh no. You're going to make me sing solo, Harry? That is not nice. Kelsey says, 3 separate lives tonight. Yes, they are spread out throughout 3 lives tonight, Kelsey. So we're doing things a little different. We'll make a note in the caption for anybody watching. But yes, they are spread out through 3 separate lives tonight. And so that means the next one, you can screenshot it. Can you screenshot them, Harry? Don't make me sing by myself. The next we have is, that would be me. And the villanelle that I wrote with Harry there, who is throwing me under the bus and making me sing by myself. I'm going to have to make up for it, aren't I? You might have to, Harry. You might have to. And Angela sending bubbles too. And Harry says, yeah, but if I have anything open while the live is going, it stops the live playing for some reason. Do you have, are you on a paid account for the live? I think only paid accounts let you go outside of, have it like up in your screen somewhere. I don't know what's that's called. Kelsey goes, Harry. And Harry sending bubbles all the way from the UK. Bumblebee. Where there's a will, there's a way. Kelsey's like, you will get on there, Harry, and you will sing. I came here to hear you sing. I think there's a setting in your YouTube that you have to have set up that it'll go out of the screen like that for you to do. Oh, weird. So it just doesn't do it with lives. That makes sense. Oh, because he's recording it. Yeah, I don't think he can go out of the screen while recording, because when I try to do that, it shuts it down. So he's not going to be able to do it. Do you have a Kindle or something like that? Oh, well, you can't go on there to do that, can you? And I have a fold phone, so it can split apps on the screen and have like 4 open at the same time. It's just not working. Sometimes they don't. Kelsey says, no second device. Kelsey really wants to hear you sing, Harry. Oh, that's weird. That's weird. Well, as they say, the show must go on, I suppose. Though I'm really not looking forward to it going on by myself, Harry. So this is called, this one would be the next villanelle And it is by myself and Harry. I wanted to write the villanelle to mine, and I kept starting it. As I told y'all on the other live, I kept starting it and restarting it and stopping it because I was trying to force something and it just wasn't working. So I thought, let's disqualify me. And because I thought villanelle is villainesque, and I thought I'll get Harry to, because Harry's never wrote a villanelle, that I will get him to write a villanelle with me. You've had several of the zombie ones in your head all day. I'm very proud of this collab too, Harry. We did phenomenal on it. And so he said yes. And so we started writing, wasn't sure what we were going to write other than it had to go with the poem. And he sent the first line, which was "these pages turn by the flick of a claw." And from that on, that was like, that's his line. He sent that line. And then from that on, we pretty much, every line is a collaboration of both of us figuring it out and figuring out what we thought would work best for it. Harry says we genuinely worked hard on this one. Yeah. Alyssa wants to hear you singing too, Harry. Maybe we should flip it. Well, we can't. Should we postpone? Well, would you be able to do them tomorrow, Harry? Harry says, yes, we started each writing a line and then started writing each other's too. We did. And then once we finished, we went back in and we pulled out words we didn't like and we shoved in words we wanted because we wanted it to be very specific in sound. And I think we pulled it off, but we're both really happy about it because it is like a true collab. We couldn't go, this is my line and this is his line. These are our lines. And that's cool. It's a lot of fun. Like he says, it was great fun. So this is called Villain Eloquence by Hob the Poet and from the Breath of Daydreams. These pages turn by the flick of a claw, softly dictating the seasonal shift, brittle reminders that leave thine heart raw. Whispers of scribbles that color my flaw, luring me into a palpable rift. These pages turn by the flick of a claw. Indiscernibly inked, life's heartless maw. Inscriptions of love hate's eyes cannot lift. Brittle reminders that leave thine heart raw. Gilded in sadness, this cruel summer law, sanguine, though mind dormant memories sift. These pages turn by the flick of a claw. Caught thieving scripture through shackles I gnaw, stolen dreams sequestered, brutal and swift. Brittle reminders that leave thine heart raw. A puzzled disaster in all they saw, rewriting rules as a conniving grift. These pages turn by the flick of a claw. Brittle reminders that leave thine heart raw. You hear that, Harry? You're not going to get out of singing. Yay! Right? Hold on. Let me break my voice for a second. I enjoyed doing this collab. It was so awesome. So awesome. I loved it. And I'm very happy with this villa now. So, yay! Kelsey says, brittle reminders that leave thy heart raw. Thine, but yes, absolutely. And Harry says it really sounds great. We were really happy with it, and we went back at the end because Harry was like, I really think the last word should all be one syllable. And so we went back and we were fixing it. We went through, we got a bit nitpicky with it, but we're happy with the nitpicky. So are we moving the zombies to tomorrow? If so, we need to finish the secret words in this live. Yes, I think we'll do the zombies tomorrow, and tonight we will do the couplet train. You need to record and post it with a fancy reel. I don't do fancy reels, Kelsey. I could record, but I don't make fancy reels. That's one of those beautiful things you're able to do. Overlord says, wonderful villanelle. Kelsey says, it's lovely. You could record together. That would be cool. And this is Harry's first villanelle. I got to do his first villanelle with him. So how freaking fabulous did he do on his first villanelle? And Harry says, as soon as we picked one thing, it was like, well, we got to pick that out now too, right? Yes. And Overlord says, yep, sounds good. Okay, that's what we'll do then. And Harry says, record the sound and collab on a reel if so one wants to make it. Yeah. And Angela's giving the heart. So we really enjoyed it. And it was a lot of fun. Well, Harry, you said you like doing video stuff, so we could record the sound and then you could make all the really parts. Do all the video junk that I hate doing. Oh, I should not say that on YouTube. Anybody watching this, ignore that last part. I love doing videos. That was not a smart thing to say. Awesome collaboration, says Tommy. And Harry's like, damn it, yeah, I could. Well, there you go. There you go, Harry. And Angela says, male, female voices do great alternating. And Harry says, haha, live from YouTube. I hate making videos. I know, I didn't think that one through, did I? So let's do another word, and then we'll do the final villanelle. I've always been open about that, Harry. So anybody who used to watch me or something knows I do not like the video aspect of all of this. It's just not my thing. I don't mind being in front of the camera, but I don't like the tech of making the videos. It's just, everybody's like, why don't you do pictures? Why don't you do something? I don't like doing that. I'm not into that. I'm into the other artistries, but that is not what I'm into. I can admire it from other people, but no, it's just not me. Which is kind of cool. I'm excited that there's something I don't enjoy doing. That gets me excited. So the the fifth secret word is that. And if you are watching it back, you will need to send vjhd.writer the word angry. Angry. And yes, I just gave my tail, Harry. And so that is your fifth word. You'll get one more before the end. And you will need to write a 16 plus line poem to using all of the words and have it to us by tomorrow before the live starts. Or if you want the golden ticket, you will have to write an ode, which is 30 plus lines, 3 10-line stanzas minimum. Your choice. But for now, we're reading the final villanelle from this group, and that is by vjhd.writer, The Overlord, and this is also their first villanelle, and they wrote it called A Musician's Daughter. A Musician's Daughter. Ooh, Kelsey is getting bubbly, sparkly happy. Yes, I know that, but the Overlord goes in and deletes, or is supposed to be deleting all of that as they go. You have been doing that after the first one, right, Overlord? Or is everybody just going to be able to go through and read through and get the words? Yes, very sneaky. So they'll have to look for my tails that you pick on me about. Overlord says all the secret word comments get deleted and Angelique doesn't say them. Nope. Angelique's lips are zipped on the secret words. Yay! And they have deleted them. So this is vjhd.writer, and it is their first villanelle about the poem that we read earlier, and it is called A Musician's Daughter. Lyrical musings of what life might see, wishing upon the dreamy stars of night. Should the fates decide to just leave her be? As she finds the strength to continue free, she takes the pen and finds the will to write lyrical musings of what life might see. As she finds the joy and brings about glee, singing her passion brings back this bright light. Should the fates decide to just leave her be? Her dreams are the key, would you not agree? He told her to be and do what was right. Lyrical musings of what life might see. Fate's determination will only flee as she tiptoes her way to freedom's flight. Should the fates decide to just leave her be? Flying on his wings in a singing spree, she won't give in what she knows is a fight. Lyrical musings of what life might see, should the fates decide to just leave her be. Harry says it's almost like you guys thought this through. We might have thought it through, Harry. Kelsey says, sneaky, nobody gets past y'all. I don't know about that. And Kelsey says, should the fates decide to just leave her be? And Angela says, heartbreaking. And Tommy says, wonderful, right? And it is. It's really, really beautiful. And I'm reading this from the page because I don't have the text for it. And the Overlord says, I've never written a villanelle before. I have always found it interesting. I start drawing a map, but I usually have such a clear idea of what I want to write that it falls apart and I switch to a free write. But this time I was pulling a poem from just a prompt line and a feeling I had about my father and his influence on my life. And then I found this photo and felt that I had to write to this woman in the picture, daring the fates to mess with her when her father's wings were right below. I'm hoping that I got it right, but I'm super proud of it anyway. The prompt line from the previous post had a second challenge, and then they go on to explain what the villanelle is. You did a beautiful job, a beautiful job. You have every right to be excited when you were finished, Overlord. Kelsey says, wonderful use of the style. Harry says, it's a lovely poem. Kelsey says, love the lines that were repeated. Tommy says, wonderful ride. Harry says, always love a well thought out refrain. And Kelsey says, oh, yes, a map makes sense. And the Overlord says, thank you. It's a beautiful villanelle. You got a lot to live up to on your future villanelles. You knocked it out on the first one. And Harry says, I mean, it's no panda Tonka, but it's cool. It's no pin-up panda Tonka. Y'all have to be on the inside joke. It is much better than a pin-up panda Tonka. It was awesome. Beautiful, beautiful Overlord. And then that means instead of having another video, I am just going to, wow, this one's at an hour and 48 minutes. Do we do the couplets on this one or come back for a third one, Overlord? Oh, wait, no, we have another poem to read. Hold on. Let me look at, because we did have somebody else enter them. Though they got the villanelle wrong. So this is Mercury. Yes, Overlord. Yes, they sent 2 poems. So this first one is by Mercury.poetry. over on Instagram. That's right. Or is it underscore? I don't have it right in front of me. I think there is a lag in the room. Oh, and it's that time of year when there's gnats around my apartment when it rains. Oh, they get into my apartment. I apologize for that, people. Mercury.poetry. Yes, at mercury.poetry. And so I do not see a title for this first one. And it says, compelling inherent admiration discovered, imparting mutually recognized sentiment, disclosing deep-rooted desire now unencumbered, self-performance in perpetuum of a gentleman. Hidden expression, refrain from explaining those words, strong interaction, discussion with some gentle fun, magnetic attraction, synergy unencumbered, blissful thoughts while in each other's arms, total comfort. Destiny reigns supreme over determination, fancy journey or an amusing experiment, pleasant discourse, absence of raw communication, won't show true colors, frightened of stark embarrassment. Unaware any words you sing need no explanation. Choices are made, yet our meeting wasn't by accident. We don't choose from where we came, nor our destination. Search for abundant joys of life and be passionate. Perfect imitation that quickly went out of key. Carved in stone, I'll always cherish this fine symphony. Lyrical objections, ransacked fate's will to concede. And under that, he says, I don't really like that when I'm planning to write another one, but I want to turn it in just in case I come up short. I like it. I like the way that it takes through and it's going through and it's saying, we fit good. We were wonderful. There was no difficulty there. There was no challenge to interact. Everything was just great. But then it drops into the next one. Destiny reigns supreme over determination, fancy journey, or an amusing experiment. Pleasant discourse absent of raw communication. Won't show true colors, frightened of stark embarrassment. So all that beauty that's building and building in the first stanza and the second stanza, suddenly it's being torn apart. Unaware any words you sing need no explanation. Choices are made, yet our meeting wasn't by accident. And then down into that third stanza. Perfect intonation that quickly went out of key. Carved in stone, I'll always cherish this fine symphony. And this poem to me is like one of those sad moments where this one person thinks everything is going perfect and moving along great, and they just are feeling it only to suddenly realize, oh, wait a minute, maybe not. But they still cherish it. They don't look back on it in an ugly way. They don't look back on it as something negative. They're like, this was beautiful. I like what we had. Kelsey says beautiful. Harry says it's nicely written. Yes. And we're so excited to see you writing Mercury to a prompt. This was beautiful. And then to follow that up, he did include a 19-line, 10-syllable poem explaining the poem. However, it wasn't written with the refrain and the other requirements of a villanelle. So it doesn't qualify for the gold ticket, but it's still a poem. And so I will read it. And it also does not have a title. Excuse me. And so it says, a harmonious draw to each other, the beginning of falling hard and fast. He never really knew his need for her, and never would he even think to ask. Mesmerized by anything she would do, heart grew fonder with each interaction. For a glimpse, she was a constant pursuit, always ready for some quick smile action. Hand holding never meant so much to him, like their spirits are connected as one, every fiber bursting out from within until they gently collide all at once. Unsustainable, they both had agreed. It was so wonderful while it lasted, but not something that either really need, and it could turn into a disaster. Ever since the end, when things went amiss, he'll only be able to reminisce and imagine all aspects of her sweet kiss or sweet touch. Beautiful poem. What just happened? Did I just lose my live? That was weird. So am I still on the live, guys? Okay, cool. My whole screen went black and flickered, so I wasn't sure what happened. That's a beautiful poem, Mercury. It's again, it's just really sweet, right? It's saying, you know, things didn't work out, but you meant a lot to me. As we're going through this, I thought this was something, but then unsustainable, they both had agreed. It was so wonderful while it lasted, but not something that either really need, and it could turn into a disaster. Tommy's giving the hearts. And then that very final stanza, ever since the end, when things went amiss, he'll only be able to reminisce and imagine all aspects of her sweet kiss or sweet touch. So it's really beautiful. Thank you, Mercury. And so that is our final of the sent in for the prompt poems. And Angela is saying hello to you, Mercury. And y'all did so amazing tonight. We have gold tickets galore to give out. We had incredible poetry to read and villanelles. And the class was great, but we're not done. We're not done quite yet. We have one more thing to do, which the people in the room that I can see that are typing are going to know about, that exists because they are part of the Society of Secretly Perfect Poets, which is what Sunday Live is all about. It is all about our members in the society. And if you want to become one, you just got to do, was our villanelle legal as a collab then? You got to ask Overlord on that. I feel guilty saying it is because I had help. So I think I should say no. But if I do get it, I'm probably going to give you the gold ticket. So instead of myself. But I'm out of this one. So if y'all are in the member of the society, or if you want to become a member and you write and you become a member, one of the things that we have going on there are, I'll tear it in half. Yes, Harry. One of the things that we have going on there are something that we call a couplet train, because we have different chat rooms in our society group. And one of them is a couplet train, an ongoing couplet train of infinity. Yes, exactly, Overlord. Which is why I picked you to help me make a villain, because you're fine with breaking the rules. So we broke the rules, but we got a great villain out of it, and that is okay. And let me find, oh, come on. There we go. Let me find the couplet train. And so one of the things that we do is we have this couplet train that is just ongoing. And anytime anyone wants to be a part of it, they just hop in and they write a couplet that follows the last couplet. You can't write two couplets in a row. Someone has to have written before you. And it goes on and on and on and on. So I'm going to scroll up and read some of these couplets, because it's been going on for a while now. And we have not read any of them. And there's some great couplets that are part of them. So if you are part of the society and you left the group, you might want to come back in. And if you want to come back in, you have to they're not all correct, Kelsey. Kelsey says, does a couplet have to be equal syllables on each line? It's just two rhyming lines, but I think sometimes they're equal syllables. I can. Do you want me to? I'm happy to. And that would be a nice short video. So yes, let's do that. Let's do that, Overlord. So we're going to end this. If y'all want to come back and hear the couplet train, you can. And the Overlord says no, but it does read better when it does. It does. And you'll see some examples, I think. We've got a wide range of couplets on here. So let me end this, and I will start it right back up for the couplet train. And if you don't come back, thanks guys for coming, and may your muse shine brightly and have a wonderful night. Hope to see you tomorrow.